Hello and welcome once again to the Irish Bulls podcast, Jack in the Box, episode 6. It's Ian McClure here, and I have with me in studio my partner in crime, Chris Mulholland. Good afternoon, Chris.
Good afternoon, Ian.
How's things with you? Any holidays at the moment?
No holidays just yet. You won't let me off, give me a day off to get away, so you might have to word my wife shortly.
It's been a few weeks, Chris, since our last catch-up, probably 2 or 3 weeks. As usual, there's been plenty happening in the world of Irish Bulls. I guess just to start with, in terms of our chat, our last episode focused on the power of sport, and we had a bit of a chat with some of our para-athletes and VI director Johnny Adams, which spoke also to Brian Smith and Peter Cullihan. They were chatting to us about their experiences in their para journey. So just prior to that, the boys and girls were just heading off to Port Talbot for an international test match. Maybe you could give us some insight in terms of how they fared.
Yes, I was very interesting. First time we'd played a test match against Wales. So I have to thank John and Julie over in Wales who helped us organise that and got it off and running. So we took 12 players across. I think it's fair to say, and we both thought we can see a progression as we go along. Still a bit of work to go, but we can certainly see a progression in a lot of our players from we first started out, probably just over 12 months ago. Probably a couple of highlights to mention. We played 4 sessions. We managed to actually draw a session one of the occasions in the race and the points that were scored. We managed to secure our first VI player winning as part of a mixed triple. Linda Walsh was the VI player in that. This was the first time a VI player has come away with a win in a game. And have to say we have to mention our resident Yank, Glenn Kaufman from down south, who had 3 wins out of 4, which is actually a very creditable performance when he was over as far as an individual goes.
Yeah, very much so. Glenn did tremendously well, and he adds a bit of life to the party as well, Chris.
He certainly does, yes.
I mean, I think from memory we had 4 wins out of 18 games.
Yep.
We played England, the month previous to that, probably a stronger English team. However, a very good, experienced Welsh team also, I have to add, and we got 2 wins out of that. So, yeah, small acorns.
Yes, small acorns, and as you say, both teams were very good. I mean, some of the VA players in Wales were the current holders of the European Championship, so it certainly wasn't a weak team they had out against us either.
Yeah, and we also had some new debutants in that Irish team as well. I know one person maybe to give a shout out to was Keith Tinney in particular. It was the first time he donned the green shirt, and I know how much it meant to him. And I say it's great to visually see that experience and how much it means to those guys, boys and girls.
Yeah, I think that's what's great about the para journey, if you want to call it, that we're on now. The opportunities there for a lot of people to now represent Ireland, pull on the green jersey, and obviously that opportunity is still going to be there for others who may, come into it in the future.
It was also good, Chris, to see John Price down there. Our listeners may know of John Price, I'm sure they do, 1990 World Indoor Singles Champion. John is, I would say, probably semi-retired from the mainstream game in terms of the international setup, but great guy, good friend of ours, and I believe he's secretary.
Yes, I think he's secretary of that club, so it was very good of him to come down at the start. I've no doubt he's extremely busy, to come down and do a welcome just to the Ireland team when they came across. Nice to see him.
Yeah, no, very much so. Again, you've already did a shout out to John and Julie, and yeah, I think John actually bought us a drink as well, so
yes,
fair play to him.
That obviously puts him up in the pecking order.
It certainly does. It was only the one, right enough, John, if you're listening. You need to up your ante. Chris, in terms of what's next in the para horizon?
Well, there's a few things coming up through the year, and we'll probably cover those events, but probably the one thing to mention it now is we're holding a classification clinic for our physically disabled players on Sunday the 13th of April. And just to say, if anybody is interested in seeing if they're eligible and wanting to try and get classified, then they need to get in touch with either yourself or me, because they need to get a medical form completed by the GP and get that back in probably before the end of March, so as we can schedule appointments. But that's something that if somebody's out there listening and wondering, would I qualify for that? That's the way to find out.
Yeah, very much so. And again, if there's any queries, just try and contact Chris or I, or contact your local club or your association, and they'll be able to put you in contact. Or if you have a friend and you're thinking, would they be eligible? Just reach out. Probably just before we move on, Chris, maybe a shout out to Mark Cairns as well. On that trip, I know he got 2 victories, and he had one very good skipping performance under your tutelage of keeping a game to single digits. I think that was the plan that maybe went awry.
I remember having a conversation with him. He was obviously having a bit of a tough time during the game. Probably the score was around about 9-2.
Yeah.
And he was thinking, if I can keep this to 15-16-2, and not lose any counts, we'll be well. This was just as the Leeds were playing. So I walked across to the edge of the rink to have a chat with yourself and watched them lose a 5. So obviously the advice didn't quite go along.
I know. It was quite funny. Saying that, he did probably play from memory here. It's just come back to me, actually, the bowl of the tournament or the test match.
He certainly did. A head that was lying in a tight game, a head that was lying very much against him. 3 very close shots and another 2, 5 down, having played a weight shot with his first bowl, and he drew the shot. Testament to that.
No. So a big shout out to Cairnsey, and he's a big Liverpool supporter as well. So
can't have everything going for you.
Yeah, we're on the up. All good. Dick Turpin wore a mask and all that type of stuff. Okay, moving on. Our ladies, Chris, since the last time we had a catch up, were over in Aberdeen or up to Aberdeen in the terms of the under 25 international series. I believe you have a bit of an update.
I have, and there's really only one place to start there, Adrian. A huge well done to the ladies on getting their first team win. They beat Wales while they were over there.
Fantastic,
by 8 shots. They had 3 rinks out of the 4 up in that game.
Super.
So fantastic. From a number of years ago when I think Mandy started off the under 25 team, and over the last few years under the tutelage of Sandra Bailey MBE, the team has went from strength to strength, and that's fantastic to come out with a win in the series.
Yeah, a real breeding ground for the next generation of Irish bowlers, and that's a real shot in the arm to the effort, to management, to the players, and indeed the mums and dads that go over and support.
Very much so. They're very well supported. Just to give you an update, I said they beat Wales by 8 shots. They had 1 rink up against Scotland. It was a rink skipped by Sophie McIntyre. They lost by 48 shots in total there, and lost by 58 in England. And probably another shout out to Sophie McIntyre, who I believe was voted player of the tournament right across. And given we know the standard of some of the players in the other countries, that's a really good achievement.
Yeah, a big shout out to Sophie. I played her there not that long ago in a Thursday evening league in Ballybrex Community Indoor Bowling Club, and I can probably see why she achieved that award or that accolade. So fair play. Big shout out indeed. Men's under 25 internationals took place in Northampton. Again, I believe you have some results at hand.
Yes, probably disappointing across. Obviously, like most underage teams, maybe going through a bit of a transformation. Played Scotland first, ended up losing by 42 shots. 1 rink win during that. Rink skipped by Ross McMullen. I believe Daniel Spratt was leading in that and played particularly well. They then played Wales, where they lost by 39, and then finished with a game against England and lost by 46. Probably overall a bit disappointing they didn't get any more rink wins in any of the games. Just looking at their scores, I normally try and tell teams to stick in at the start. Over the first 5 ends, after 5 ends against Scotland, they were down 22. They only went down another 20 shots through the rest of the game. They were down 14 against Wales and down 14 against England after 5 ends.
So that start,
if you don't get off to a good start, it's hard to then pull it back.
It's been pivotal. Yeah, it's a tough old station. There's absolutely no doubt in that. Obviously, I believe it's quite a young side that we had on the green. So look, they're going to learn from that. They're going to develop from that. And they're going to embrace that. I've absolutely no doubt. But yeah, it's the conveyor belt of talent, and we just need to embrace it, work with the guys, and the only ways up really from those results.
Yeah, well, the conveyor belt is obviously working because there's a number of those are involved in the senior setup now as well. So
yeah, and that's always been the case.
I've no doubt a few others will be hoping to do that. But yes, if they can keep the group together over the next few years, then it goes well.
Absolutely. I believe probably the only thing to note was the fact that I believe the carpet was pretty quick. Probably not what we're really used to play on, or some of the players anyway. So, that might be a factor into
yes, I think
just getting off to a good start.
When you come up against a very quick carpet, the only ones who are sort of getting that advantage, shall we say, over here are those who play in the bigger stadium where we have quick greens. The other ones playing then maybe struggling a wee bit at the start just to get used to the speed. Moving
on, Chris. Our Irish Cup draw came out there very recently. So obviously we're probably a few weeks away yet from the outdoor, but to pardon the phrase, we're starting to smell the grass. Outdoors are, one of our most favourable formats in terms of the team and all that type of stuff. So I believe you did a quick review of our Irish Cup draw. Albeit, I will say this, Chris, no better man to do it, as you showed me many times your 11 Irish Senior Cup medals. You bring out, is it Mr. Sheen you use? give them a bit of a polish.
Thanks very much for that, Ian. I wouldn't even know where to find them.
Oh,
I'm sure
dear
you
me.
know exactly where to find your one Irish Cup medal.
I do. Yes, oh yes.
Yes, it's actually throwing up some interesting ties. In the Senior Cup, there's only 2 ties in the first round, but the very tasty encounter is a local derby with Ballymoney at home to Limavady.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I'm sure you're really pleased to see that as a
Brilliant.
Portrush player.
Oh, listen, it's a tremendous game. Obviously, I was speaking to a few boys that will be playing in that game. Mr. Tennant, especially, I'm pretty friendly with Aaron, and obviously there was a little bit of history to one of the games last
I believe
season.
so, yes. That's one way of putting it, yes.
Yeah, I refer to it as the Drumcree standoff in bowling terms, whereby they deliberated over a measure for 2.5 hours, probably unprecedented. So in terms of a game, it's pretty spicy. And,
So you're saying it could start on Saturday and finish on Sunday?
possibly it could. But yeah, pretty tasty round 1 game.
It's a very tasty round 1 game, and the winner has a very tasty round 2 game because the winner's away to Bangor.
Away to the seaside.
It doesn't get any easier.
Away to the seaside. Take your bucket and spade, absolutely. Yeah, tough draw.
Looking at a few of the other draws, which are obviously in the second round, we'll have to start with Holders Portrush. Get a nice wee trip away to Dunleary.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good to get a Dublin trip. Dublin team Dunleary, I believe that's synthetic. I've never been there.
As far as I'm aware, yes.
So obviously that brings its own challenges for us. But yeah, we look forward to that, and we'll give them full respect and hopefully get over the line, Chris. Yeah.
And a few other ties just to mention in the second round. Crumlin, one of the top teams from down south, they have Larne visiting. Larne here, always thereabouts, and obviously previous winners.
That's a spicy game, and obviously the Crumlin side, they are probably, I have to be careful what I say here, but they're probably the best team down there over the last maybe 2 or 3 years.
Well, you've Crumlin and CYM, probably the top 2 of the last few years.
You have Shane and Richard and the boys, and Eamon and stuff like that, and Gareth Pierpoint on the other side of the house.
Another tasty encounter, which is 2 teams within the same association. Belmont are host to Ballymena.
Yeah. I don't think it's any secret. There's probably maybe not a lot of love lost there in terms of that rivalry. I would say home advantage, possibly a factor. I think Ballymena have a pretty decent record at home, and obviously Belmont the same. So that's one to watch.
You'd probably be giving home advantage. You'd probably give the nod to Belmont. And just to mention my own club, Dumbarton, who obviously will be hoping to be thereabouts at the end. They start off with a trip to near neighbours Bestbrook.
Is Dumbarton's your home club at the moment, Chris?
It is, yes.
Yeah, no, I just heard a lady saying to you today, and I had the chuckles. He says, "What club are you at now, Chris?"
I did wonder that. Even he's saying I've only been with 3 and done loose for a long time, and I lived up north, and then only been with 2 others. So
I'll have to start calling you Jack Nicholas.
I'm not sure.
You're like Ryan Bell.
I'm not sure where the various clubs came from.
Ryan Bell, so many clubs.
Just moving away from the Irish Senior Cup, and just to mention that in the Irish Intermediate Cup and the Irish Junior Cup, the current holders won't get a chance to defend their titles. Balmoral were the winners of the Intermediate Cup last year. They're now involved in the Irish Senior Cup. And Larne B, who were the winners of the Junior Cup, are now involved in the Intermediate Cup. Larne B play CI Knock, which is a very tasty encounter there. And Balmoral play Cookstown, which again, I'm sure will be an interesting game in the Senior Cup.
Is that it? That's at Balmoral?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty good game. The Hog Bear and Mark Wilson and the boys will be out for the Trunker and the lads from Balmoral. So, well, Chris, I mean, it would be remiss of me if I didn't ask you to put on your Mystic Chris hat. And, would you like to make any early predictions? Think of your reputation if you happen to nail this at some point in March.
Well, you're obviously hoping I won't mention Portrush because
please don't.
That'll put the scud in them.
Please don't.
I think you can't go far away from, it depends. And I haven't looked through the draw to see who may play who, but you would be surprised. And I'm erring on Belmont beating Ballymena. You have to be surprised if Belmont or Dumbarton underbite the end. And I'm going to throw in Crumlin because I think it's probably near time one of the teams from the south, were thereabouts, and I think they are probably the most likely in relation to that. So if the draw is kind to them, I could see them being about.
So really what we're saying, don't bet on Belmont or indeed Crumlin or Dumbarton for the Irish Cup this year.
That's probably fair enough, yeah.
Very, very good. Listen, it's hard to beat an Irish Cup Saturday. That's what all the bowlers say.
Well, what's nice, obviously we'll have a few other episodes where no doubt we'll discuss in depth and write off the teams that I've put forward as we go along week to week.
Listen, they have to try and get you
Round
on,
and round.
they have to try and get you under the bus. 100%. Okay, moving on from our Irish Cup draw, Chris, which is always good to see coming out. We're going to have a bit of a chat about club development, probably a more dry lunch topic, some would say, but a very important topic nonetheless, in terms of, trying to get clubs to buy into, how to improve and develop, grow their membership, and indeed retain their members. Just to set the scene, 2022, the IBF conducted the inaugural club engagement survey. And some of the key findings coming out of that were retention and growth. And they were some of the key challenges facing bowling clubs in general, particularly survival for those clubs with a really low membership. As you know, Chris, you and I are heavily involved in this as well, in terms of the IBF are about to launch their club development toolkit to provide support and guidance for clubs around a number of key aims. So how are we going to do that?
Well, you're quite right. It is something a lot of people don't look at, but for clubs themselves, it's bread and butter. And I think, as I've often said to you, it's not about getting 20 new members in. There's clubs there that are working on 18, 20 members for a team. 5 new members mean they're still here in 5 years' time instead of not being. So, cool. It's only a small number people need, but they need to do work to do it. So, yes, our club toolkit will be coming out. It'll be housed within the Irish Bowls Federation website. There will be areas that anybody can go into, but there will be an area that's password protected. And that's for information and guides that we've got done up, Facebook videos, guides, how to use things. The passwords will be available to the club secretaries, and any members can get it from their own club secretary, go in and look at that. And we're hoping that it's something that will help clubs, work themselves. We have other things going on in hand, and we'll talk about our open day that's coming up again this year as well, and some of the training things that are on offer. But hopefully there's something there that most clubs can gain from, and we'll have some case studies and sort of best practice guides from other people apart from ourselves as well that hopefully will give some information.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you said there, we're going to have some case studies and webinars, frequently asked questions, and some, workshops and actual courses that people can attend either face-to-face or via Zoom on particular topics. So it's a really blended learning approach. People can dip in, they can dip out, they can have a look, they can share, whatever. So that focuses on retention and growth, sustainability, focus on disability as well, Chris, and especially trying to establish better links with our local community.
Yeah, well, as you say, one of the main things come out of our club engagement survey was the retaining members and attracting new members. And the way to do that is obviously engaging with the local community, local groups within there, other local sporting clubs, possibly schools. There's a lot to do there. And there's sort of guidance as to how best to go about that if people aren't sure. So that hopefully will help local clubs.
Yeah, and just before we summarise some of the learning that we do have on offer, we're also going to, or the IBF I should say, is also going to offer the opportunity for clubs to participate in our second Tri-Bowls Open weekend, Chris.
Yes, that's planned for Saturday the 3rd and Sunday the 4th of May this year. So if clubs haven't signed up for that, it's useful that they can. And that's obviously, we thought was fairly successful last year. 38 clubs participated. I think there's about 110 new members in relation to it. So it proves that it's worked, as we already knew, because obviously they've been doing it down south for a few years now, and the numbers they've got are very, very good. So hopefully that's an option that clubs can go along with.
Yeah, and I think also, we're realistic to know that every club is not going to buy into that because they probably don't need to. Some of the larger clubs certainly don't need to tap into that. But the clubs on, as you say, on the breadline, if you like, it's a great way of tapping in, getting the right guidance, the right support, and actually reaching out to your community. I mean, how many times have you heard, didn't know that bowling club was there, didn't know that bowling club existed, wasn't sure what was over that hedge? Yeah. This type of thing.
I think historically, with bowling clubs in general, have been very good at very poor at promoting themselves. But yes, not, as you say, not every club will partake in that, but some clubs actually hold their own open day. I know a few clubs who actually, the day they actually officially open for the start of the season, hold such an open day and invite people along, and that proves successful for them. So it doesn't matter what you're doing, as long as you're doing something that helps you attract new members in.
Yeah, very, very much so. Very much so. So just to recap on that, just for our listeners, our club development workshops, if you like, we're going to run 4 of those. First one is on the 19th of March. It's going to be Canva training, which is social media training in terms of these nice graphics that some clubs now do and are able to provide. 24th of March, how to best recruit and retain members. Again, that will be via Zoom. 27th of March will be our focus on our open weekend in terms of our tri-bowls. That will be run by Lucy Smith, our marketing consultant. And Lucy's a lot of experience in delivering best practice literature and indeed social media stuff for open days. And then our last one, we haven't got a date on it, is our club development workshop, Chris.
Yes, and probably fair to say Lucy will be running the Canva training as well, as that's well outside
I didn't mention
our
that.
knowledge.
Certainly outside of my knowledge.
So fortunately we have somebody that knows what they're talking about in relation to that. And as you say, with the use of social media and the increase in that, the encouragement of clubs to use that, if you're able to do it well in graphics, then Canva is the way to go for that. So that will be very useful to clubs, hopefully.
Yeah, so this is probably, well, I think it is the first effort that Irish Bowls have made at doing a sort of club development toolkit framework. So fingers crossed, see how it goes. It's up to clubs to try and access it. Again, you and I are the points of contact. So I guess let's watch this space and let's see how it goes.
Yes, we'll put the information there. Hopefully clubs will utilise it. No doubt at some stage we will go back to clubs and try and find out, was it useful, was it not? What areas could be developed or improved? What else would be useful? So it's hopefully will be a work in progress and something that we'll update as we go along.
So that's our club development toolkit promotional chat. Watch out, it's coming soon. Continuing with our theme of club development, we have with us Adrian Thompson and Elizabeth Blair. Adrian's from Dungiven Bowling Club and Elizabeth is from Picky Bowling Club. Guys, thank you very much for coming along. We're going to discuss some of your positive club experiences. Obviously, in the topic of club development, very relevant and important considering our conversations to date. Adrian, may I start with you? Many of our clubs generally, it's probably a well-known fact that they're struggling in terms of club membership. That's not always the case. There's plenty of really positive stories out there, but there's a lot of stories and clubs are struggling. That's probably a well-accepted fact. In terms of Dungiven, I understand your membership levels have went from 21 members around COVID time to 41 probably at the end of last season or indeed today.
That's right.
So to kick things off, Adrian, how did you do that magnificent increase in membership?
Well, Ian, I think it's probably, I need to tell you our history, our story, just a brief story of where we were and where we are now.
Yeah.
Well, we were formed in 1985 and this year's actually our 40th anniversary, 2025.
Very good.
We play within the NIPBA and historically we always played on a grass green up until the end of 2020, whenever the council decided they needed the land for somewhere else. The council were going to build a state-of-the-art facility for us in 2023, but that left a 2-year gap, so where we were going to play. So up stepped our neighbours and friends at Limavady. They generously allowed us to use their facilities, and which our club is very grateful to them. So I suppose, given that no bowls were played in Dungiven for several years, and then COVID hit, our club membership dwindled to about 21, as you have said.
Yes, pretty low.
Pretty low. And on one occasion in 2022, we actually played a league match, which you need 16, and with 12 members.
Yeah, and that's not uncommon, Adrian. That's not uncommon in terms of teams fielding, with less memberships. 100%, totally get that.
Absolutely not, but it's not an enviable position for any club to be in, Ian. So anyway, we were lucky enough, we moved back to Dungiven in 2023 to the new facilities.
And that was synthetic now?
That's synthetic, yes. Green? Yeah, absolutely.
Very good.
Absolutely. So
the council spoils you a little bit?
Absolutely. We've got great facilities, absolutely wonderful facilities. So our membership now, as you said, to the end of 2024, increased to 41 members and a couple of social members. So what that enables us to do in 2024 was have 2 teams in the league. And so what happened with our B team, they finished 4th in the league and also they got beat in the final of the Highland Donaghy Cup. A great achievement for the first year.
Absolutely tremendous. And Adrian, so I'm really interested just to tease out. So you went from 21 to 41. That's an increase of 20 members, nearly 100% increase in your membership. Did they just all walk in through the gate?
unfortunately, and that's not the way it works.
So what did you do as a club, Adrian?
We hear from a lot of people, it's impossible to get new members.
Yeah, that would be a
no
common cry.
No one's interested in playing bowls, but there's hard graft involved in any club looking for new members. What I would say, looking for membership or new members, isn't a one-off process. It's a continual process throughout the year and every year. It's not something that you look at, a month before you start to play outdoor. So how do we do it, Ian? I've got 12 points here. I'll go through a few of them. Some will work for some clubs, some may not, and it's about getting the blend right for, shall we say, each club, and each club's going to be different.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what I would say, the first one, existing members. Existing members are, a good source of actually increasing your membership. Get people who knows, friends of friends, to actually come, give it a go. If you don't like it, that's fine, but at least you're getting people in. And we found that to be actually a good source of new members, shall we say.
And it always is, Adrian, in terms of, bowling clubs are typically reliant upon that type of approach. So that's what I would call the traditional type of approach.
Exactly.
Friends and families and cousins and next door neighbours and all that type of stuff. And that works well. Mm-hmm. So we keep that going.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. Yeah. 100%. What I'd also say about one probably important factor some clubs don't do is having a presence on social media. That to me is fundamental. It's something that's underestimated. It should be used more by clubs. What it does, it ensures the local community can follow the progress of the club, gaining familiarity with the club. And, so what basically happens is people are less daunted. If somebody is interested, they know what's going on. So they can come into the gate knowing sort of what goes on within the club. And to me, that's fundamental.
Yeah, traditionally, I have always this perception of bowling clubs, when I was growing up and before me, in terms of, the trees around the green, bushes and that type of thing, and you couldn't really see in and you weren't really encouraged in either. I think we've moved away from that, and, a lot of our bowling clubs now are transparent in terms of being able to look in. And again, in terms of social media, you're building that connection, I suppose, Adrian.
Absolutely, and use that as a platform, and follow other clubs within your vicinity as well, because that's definitely a good source of members. Within Dungiven, there's lots of sporting clubs. So when people retire, shall we say, from that type of sport, they've got the mentality. They want to do something else. So bowls is absolutely, great in that respect.
Very much so. And again, that's at a particular age of retirement, but also talent transfer from another sport as well. 100%. So, it's like, 30s, 40s, but also we have the higher bracket of availability in terms of our demographics, if you like.
What I also would say is over the last 2 years, we had a number of open days and we advertised these in social media. But what I would say there about advertising open days, I would say it's a good practice to actually put them in local newspapers as well, because you've got a demographic that don't necessarily have social media, whether that's somebody that's younger or older.
Good point, actually.
Yeah, and what we also do is we actually advertise in all the local churches' bulletins around the time of the year, at the start of the year. So shortly we'll be going, and that to us, it gives us our name put out there. People see it online, they'll see it in the paper, they'll see it in bulletins. So it's about getting your presence out there and getting people to sort of think, yeah, maybe.
And obviously you're covering off all those avenues. You're doing your social media stuff.
Yes.
You're doing your church bulletins, your local press. So, you're basically closing the circle.
100%. And we had 4 open days between 2023 and 2024. And we had about 40 individuals come.
And do you think, Adrian, in terms of numbers attending those, was it pretty successful? Obviously, I presume it was, but I don't know.
Yeah, 100%, Ian. It was. We had about 40 people come because, what we do is we'll take their name and number, and if there's any, shall we say, if we want to follow up, we know how many have come. We had about 40 individuals, and I would say that 20 of those actually joined the club. So that's the difference between the 20 and the 40 that we have now.
So they were really primarily due to open days, engaging with the community and putting that strategy in place to do so.
Yes. Very much so, Ian, very much so. And what we did as well, we ran one of those sessions in coordination with Health for Life Limavady. And what it's a council initiative. And what they do is trying to get individuals out, to try different sports. But I have to say, at this stage, Ian, I just have to say about the IBF open days, we're looking forward, to the actual open day coming up now in May, and it's a lot of work's been put into the IBF. And in respect of getting the clubs to help advertise that as well, and what I would encourage is all clubs to get involved in that, because it is such a good session.
Yeah, no, it's a good initiative to get clubs to buy into. Again, all clubs will not fit. Some clubs don't actually, believe it or not, some clubs don't need new members, and that's fantastic.
Right, yeah.
I know a lot of the Dublin clubs are nearly at saturation point in terms of membership, and a few of the northern clubs as well, in terms of they have 3 or 4 teams or 2 teams. They don't need many surplus members, but that's not always the case. And I guess our discussion has been around, how do we help the clubs that need help, support and guidance? Yeah. I think, Adrian, that's a great number of points that you've made in terms of, especially regarding that community engagement and building those bridges with your local community in Dungiven.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, as I say, it is just about getting your name out there at every opportunity, making people know that you're there, because lots of people don't know that we're there. We've got a situation whereby we're putting up sponsorship boards around the green at the minute, and we're doing well. We've got roughly about 27 from a standing start in September of last year,
Fantastic.
Which is very good. But what I want to convey there is that some businesses didn't even realise that there was a bowling green in Dungiven.
Yeah.
They probably knew the old one was there, but it's closed down now.
I mean, and you hear that so often. I know some of the work that Chris and I has been involved in yesteryear, whereby we didn't know there was a bowling green there. We didn't know there was a club there. Oh, is that what that is over there?
Yeah.
So that community engagement and becoming part of the local community is so important.
I agree 100%, Ian, 100%. And one other thing I want to mention very quickly is, local indoor bowling clubs.
Yeah.
They're a great source of new members. And I would encourage all outdoor clubs to actually make contact with them, because these members have already bought in to the sport. They know how, they know how to throw a bowl. And so, if you get some of those people interested in, you're ahead of the game already, because they know what bowls is and they enjoy it, and they're keen to come and try it.
Very much so. And Adrian, just to go back on one point in terms of your open days. So obviously you were getting numbers in through the gate, and you were doing this off your own back, not in an initiative sponsored by the national governing body, if you like. You're being proactive. There was a lot of things happening at Dungiven in terms of a change from a grass to synthetic and a new council facility, all that type of good work. So when you get the guys in terms of trying to entice them back again, did you do any coaching facilitation, one-on-one type of thing, or what was your approach to that?
Well, what I would say there, Ian, if you are lucky enough to get someone in that wants to come in to actually try it, you have to seize the opportunity. You really do. You have to make them feel welcome. I would say that if it's someone new to bowls, it's a case of, show them the basics, but make it fun. It is about coaching. But if someone brand new, you have to make it about fun. If it's someone that knows how to play bowls, the coaching's there. We've got a number of people that can coach, in that respect. So it's about making them feel welcome, giving them a cup of coffee when they come in, make them feel welcome. What I would say there is that whenever we run them, and I think you advocated as well within your open days, is get their name, get their telephone number. You have to follow them up. And that's important too. It's not just a matter of them coming in once and trying to say, okay, that's okay, I don't want to go back. Follow it up, and it shows that the club's interested in them. And I think that's fundamental as well. The clubs phone me, it's still ultimately their choice, and that's fine, but you're just sort of encouraging them, shall we say.
Very much so. I mean, that resonates with me. I mean, we in Portrush, we facilitated a number of follow-up sessions to our open day. Our open day, we actually get 15 new members from the local area that are new to bowls.
Yeah.
But it took a lot of hard work.
Yes.
We had to do coaching sessions with them. We had to integrate them into the club. We had to go the extra mile.
Yes.
And one of the guys actually had said to me, and he's completely new to bowls. He came, he played with us, he's joined, he's bought bowls, he's bought shoes, he's playing on our third team. But he did say he went to an indoor club not that long ago. I don't know if it was short mat or stadium, I'm not sure. But he didn't get receive the same warm welcome.
Right.
So come back to your point, Adrian, about the warm welcome. It comes down to personal relationships.
Absolutely.
If people feel welcome and they're engaged and people are interested in them, like the bowls sometimes can be secondary part of that.
Yes.
It's nice to get a close bowl and a touch and all that, but it's about a lot more for a lot of people, which is brilliant.
It is indeed, Ian. And for us, what we aiming for is that community spirit as well. Because we have come from a small base, 20 members. We have 40, but we're looking to proceed further. We're looking forward to the IBF Open Days, and we've got all our initiatives. We've created a flyer, an A5 flyer. It's on our Facebook page at the minute, and we've actually printed them off to go around the local area, shall we say, to encourage the locals to come. as well. So, there's...
Adrian, you could be our new poster boy for the IBF Open Day. Chris, what do you think?
Sounds like a good suggestion. Adrian, just one point I want to bring up. You've obviously covered that you did some work with short mat clubs and sort of other community groups and sports clubs. I believe another venture you're looking at is some participation with local schools.
Yes, so what we're doing there is we've recently bought new equipment from bowls buddies, the targets and the small bowls. So we've initially reached out to one school and we're working on that. So all being well, we have the equipment to enable us to do that. So it's just now getting it formalised, getting it in place in that respect. So yeah, we're definitely looking forward to that.
Well, I think that's great because obviously it's a good way of introducing people to the sport at an initial stage and they may keep it on. And I would say one of the advantages that you have, schools are obviously closed during the summer months, a couple of months when the outdoor season is in. With your facility being all weather, you can obviously play all year long. So that opens it up to schools being able to come in a lot more often, which should be a benefit to you.
Absolutely. What we have is, Chris, we've got a couple of schools just within 100 yards of our green, and that's good. What I would say there, you have to invest time in bowlers of tomorrow, and the best thing is to start for the youth of today. That to me is how you grow your membership. You get them at an early age.
And obviously at the end of the day, the youngsters, the primary school kids, secondary school kids, they may not join Dungiven Bowling Club or any other bowling club, but at least it'll increase their awareness of the sport of bowls. And as they get older, they may come back to it. And again, listening to you, Adrian, and obviously we knew this prior to you coming down today, that's why Chris invited you, was this good news story. And it's brilliant to hear. It's quite invigorating for us to hear all the sort of the good stuff, the can-do positive attitude. In terms of volunteers, Adrian, within your own club, do you have a lot of support in this type of initiative, or does it rest on one or two people within a club, your own club, or what's your thoughts on that? And I'm probably probing a little on that.
No, that's fine, Ian, that's fine. What I would say there, for any club to succeed and gain new members, you do need a plan of action. The management committee of any club should sit down, draft a plan, and it'll enable you to set goals, that you can that are achievable. So that's what I would say.
And is this what Dungiven have done?
Yes. So what we did, we applied for a grant probably 2 years ago for an electronic scoreboard, which is now in situ, which is great. What that enables us to do, or what we did for that, is we actually had to do out grant literature. So from that, you sort of think, well, where are the areas that we can actually gain members from? You actually sat down and thought about it logically, and from that identified a number of them. So you have the plan in place, shall we say, it's written down, and then it's about a matter of, we have a good management committee, and it's a matter of driving that plan forward into reality. So what I would say there is, yes, it probably is a few people that are there, driving it forward, but we also have a good management committee there that can support us in that respect as well.
Fantastic. Adrian, listen, I just want to thank you for a lot of positive stuff there. A really good news story, I have to say that, and quite unique in terms of a council facility that's been in transition in terms of from grass to synthetic with new facilities, nearly 100% increase in your membership and those relationships, positive can-do action and your development planning. So you've ticked a lot of boxes, Adrian.
Thanks, Ian. What I would like to just say, Ian, finally, is it is about community engagement.
Yeah, very much.
And it's about being passionate about the sport you love and wanting the best for your club and your members. And finally, what I would like to say is just, for any club, take the help and support, especially provided in respect of courses and activities. The IBF being a case in point, there's courses, there's things there that clubs can get on board with that will help membership, Ian. Yeah,
no, I really appreciate that. I think just following on from that, as we've already mentioned, our club development toolkit will be launched really, really soon. It's not for everyone, but it will help and support clubs in various areas of support and need that they need to focus on. So we're really excited about that, looking forward to it. And again, Adrian, you've given us a number of examples there that are terrific. So thank you very much, and good luck on your 40th anniversary, Dungiven. So play well, unless you're playing Portrush, of course.
Thanks very much, Ian.
All right, thanks very much for that, Adrian. I can't guarantee that it's not your final words, because Ian will have something for you at the end. But we're just going to move across now and have a chat with Elizabeth Blair from Piggy Bowling Club. Again, a club that's had a remarkable few years, and Elizabeth has been instrumental in helping that forward, and from a different sort of perspective than Adrian. So Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you very much, Chris.
I'm going to just start with, because a lot of what you've done is around coaching. So could you let me know just when you started your coaching and just what level you're at now?
Started in coaching in 2016 when the likes yourself and Ian, you came along too when I belonged to Donaghadee. We invited Donaghadee Primary School to Donaghadee Bowling Club to play. That's when you'd finished your 6-week sessions with them.
Do you remember that? Yeah.
Yes, it was a terrific turnout. I think we had 28 young people attended that session. So from that, then I moved on to Picky Bowling Club and I managed to do my coaching certificate. And then just before COVID hit us in February 2020, I was lucky enough to be invited to do the senior coaching programme. Following that, then in between times, I was able to meet up with some new members in Picky Bowling Club. I think the first few people were the McDowell family. It was 2 sisters and a brother. They came along from coaching. Those 2 ladies belonged to a dancing group, and then they invited some of the other dancers to come along to try out the bowling. And from that, bowling in Picky has just snowballed from year to year. I have been lucky enough then over the years to get other members to come along and help me. Some of those members themselves have gone through the assistant coaching programme and the coaching programme. So we've had a very different approach in Picky. We're inclined to, I just put posters up internally. Word gets out, so it's word of mouth that we are able to attract new members to the club. When we do hold open days for our own members, it would be advertised in the local papers, and that's how word gets out that the coaching's taking place. Over the years, just before COVID, our numbers had really dropped drastically. We had a junior team that was no longer playing. A lot of our senior members had got to the stage where they no longer wanted to play.
Sorry, just to interrupt. Take that's on the ladies' side we're
That's
talking here.
definitely on the
Elizabeth,
ladies' side. Yeah. So we struggled actually to get 16 players out, and we were very fortunate then that there was an agreement that the teams would go down to 12 players, and that really helped us. So over the years now, every year we do a structured coaching programme, and this has gone from strength to strength. Last year, for example, we had something like 68 people attended the coaching, and the coaching programme runs for 10 weeks. And out of that, we've got 28 new members this year. I think it was about 25 last year. So every year we're attracting more and more people. It is word of mouth. What's happened last year, really, we've got a lot of golfers in, members who had looked for an alternative sport to golfing, and they then have brought other of their friends along to the coaching as well.
I think that's something that works very well. If you get some people into the coaching, then they encourage their friends.
Yes.
I'm just looking here at some figures you provided us with. Your 10-week coaching session last year with seniors, the lowest you had in 1 week was 24 and the highest was 40.
And
that shows remarkable, sort of thing that people want to come back. So you're obviously doing something right during the coaching.
And that week with the 24, it was bank holiday, and a lot of people were away on holiday.
I was wondering why it had dropped that week. I thought that was just a bad week.
No, well, yeah.
Elizabeth, just on that, and give us a wee brief sort of side of what you do when those people arrive then down for your coaching.
Right. Very often we would be playing over the 6 rinks, and what I do, I write out by WhatsApp to the folk on the Friday just to check who's going to be attending on this Saturday, and I can allocate those people to the different rinks depending on their ability. So the new people would be kept together. The people who maybe joined last year but need a bit more experience, they would be kept together. And we've been really fortunate. Last year we were able to get a junior team up and running, say for the first time now for a lot of years. So I keep the junior new ladies together as well. Coaching takes place on a Saturday morning, and it is for men and women. It's not just ladies. What we do then, I would organise a skills session for everybody, and these are tailored to the needs of the different rinks. And from that, then they would have a coach in every rink where possible, or assistant coach plus a helper. And they'd go through the different skills, and we always finish off with rinks so that they can learn all the etiquette and how to play in a rink at the end of the coaching session.
So a couple of things just to bring out from that, Elizabeth. That sounds great. Obviously, you spend all week planning this, because there's obviously an awful lot of work goes into the planning of that and making sure it all works. So you have everybody playing round similar abilities together. But you obviously have a number of helpers and volunteers and assistant coaches within the club.
I would be lost without actually all the help that I get within the club. They've been very dedicated members. Most of them have been with me since I was able to branch out and that I needed the additional help. So I'm very grateful to those members who stayed with me.
Yeah, no, it's a remarkable story. I mean, I'm just, again, looking at figures here. I think over the last 4 years, 50 new lady members and 35 men have joined Piggy Bowling Club.
And a lot of the men, it's great to watch somebody coming in. They've never held a bowl in their hand. You've taken them through all the basics and you've taken them through the different stages of how to develop as a bowler. And now some of those men are playing on the men's A team and the ladies obviously are playing on the ladies' senior team and our new junior team. And even from that now, a lot of those new people have come into management positions. They're on the management committee, Piggy management committee, and they're on the ladies committee, it's a marvellous thing to see somebody coming in, absolutely no knowledge of bowling and ending up in an office.
Yeah, well, it's shown they're just totally integrated into the club, which is what you want, and people getting involved in the club and then giving something back to it. Obviously, unlike Dungiven, you have a grass green.
We have,
You
indeed.
don't have the advantage of keeping people outdoors. So how do you carry this on in the winter?
We're very lucky that we have the facility in Piggy to run indoors, bowling club short mat. The ladies play on the Monday. There's the men play on different days of the week as well. But we do run coaching for the ladies during the winter as well. So the ladies come in and they play their rinks, but I would run a coaching session then from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock for all our new members. And we were very lucky even to get 6 new people in over the winter as well. So obviously they're going to join us for the outdoors when we start. We're programmed to start about the 26th of April and they will be coming along to the outdoors.
And I take it all or mostly all of these sessions are finished off with or sort of split in the middle by the usual cup of tea where you can have a chat about who played the best bowl or who didn't.
I actually think that's one of the most important parts of our coaching sessions on a Saturday. We finish off with tea and coffee and biscuits, and it's a great opportunity for people to mix with each other and just get to know each other. And it's from that tea and coffee session that they will arrange to meet up during the week to practice their bowls. So to me, it's a critical part of our coaching.
Have you had any buns, Elizabeth, that could be tempted? And I know Chris would be tempted.
We did have a lady who came and she was baking us a cake every week.
Right.
And it was fabulous.
She's on the team.
I have to say,
Talk about spoilt.
I have to say, Elizabeth did invite me down one day. Somebody was just struggling with some parts of
That's
their delivery.
right.
And I did get a cup of tea when I was there. I have to say, I don't recall there being buns or any cake, but it was a very nice cup of tea.
You got a cup of tea and a biscuit.
I did,
I
yes.
remember that.
Oh, well, you always need that, and it encourages to go anywhere. I'm just going to talk about the junior section. That's obviously junior and ladies as far as the league goes, but as far as juniors under 18s, I believe you're approached by a couple of ladies about maybe doing something with their granddaughters.
Yes, it was the end of July. It was grannies came up and said that they had granddaughters they would like them to come along and have a go at bowls. So again, I put a notice out on our Piggy webpage and I said I was thinking of starting up just a 4 or 5 week trial session to see how it would go. And I got 10 young people coming along, the youngest being 5, and she's so competitive. And we've got a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old boy. I met them every Saturday during the month of August. And then, of course, we had our party and our sticky buns and drinks after that. And then I met them once a month over the winter. I wanted to keep in touch with them and keep them together as a group. And it's amazing to see the progress and the dedication of these young people who are coming along into their bowling sessions.
Again, I think that's wonderful because I think certainly from me and my perspective, we would see a drop in sort of the numbers in under 25, under 18 level. And it's trying to get those people in and obviously looking back at what Adrian said about the schools programme they're talking about, anything we can do to encourage younger people into the sport at that stage and try and keep them in is wonderful. So that's great that you can keep them coming.
It's amazing to see how well they've come on to over their 6 sessions they've had indoors. And I've already a programme for them for outdoors, which will start in May.
Elizabeth, thank you very much. That, I think, covers a remarkable journey for Piggy Bowling Club, and it shows how having structured coaching sessions, not just ad hoc, but actually planning out what you're going to do, make sure people are enjoying what they're doing, and the numbers there are remarkable that you've got over the last 4 years. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I'd just like to thank
unbelievable.
Picky Management Committee as well, because they've been very supportive to all the coaching in Picky.
Well, I think that is paramount to actually being able to do anything. If you don't have the support within the club of where you're doing it, then you can't do anything. So I think that goes without saying. But yes, that's very good.
Just to draw things to a close, folks, I'm going to put you under a little pressure. We're going to do with you the Jack in the Box Irish bowler from your perspective. So just to set the rules, Chris.
Yeah, rules are fairly simple. They have to have been born in Ireland, can be male or female, played any of the formats, outdoor, indoor, short mat, and you can only choose each person once. If you've chosen somebody and then you decide they might fit something else better, you can't change that person.
So we're going to do this as a joint effort. Okay, guys, so you'll be able to collaborate if you want. We're going to do it alternately. So we're going to kick off with Adrian. In terms of the Jack in the Box, perfect Irish bowler. Adrian, best on the draw shot.
Best in the draw shot. Well, Ian, I thought about that, and I've got one delivery in my mind, and it was by Jackie Smith. It was last year at your tournament in Portrush. We were in the TV rink. It was the quarterfinals. He had a last bowl to draw within 2 inches of the actual ditch to get the shot, and he did so. And he broke our hearts, being honest with you, Ian.
It's obviously your choice.
Chris is a tear run down that you say here.
You've obviously broke my heart here, because that's another story I'm going to hear from Jackie Smith when I happen to be out for a meal with him some evening, and I can't believe Jackie Smith has made it into the perfect bowler. So
Did you not hear that one before, Chris? No?
it's one of the few stories I haven't heard.
I have to say that'll raise a few eyebrows in our club, Adrian, but I did witness that bowl, to be fair, but there you go. Elizabeth, moving on to yourself. The most prepared bowler.
Well, I must admit I had to borrow this name, and surprise, surprise, it's yourself, Ian. Yep. And even for the likes of today, all the preparation you've gone to do this.
Okay.
You're becoming a regular in this perfect bowler, or somebody else mentioned you as well.
I don't know
To
why.
believe you out, Chris.
Yeah, bribery. I think it's bribery. Adrian, the best drive, the best exponent of the drive shot that you've came across in your days.
Well, a number of years ago, Ian, we played against Ballymoney, and Gary Kelly was playing. He was playing singles. It was the 5-man team format. How shall I say? I've never seen somebody drive a bowl as good. And every time he did it, he burnt the end. So it has to be Gary Kelly for me.
Gary seems to be regular in that spot, and I have to say, well deserved.
And he's had plenty of practice.
He's only filling that spot. He could fill some of the other ones, but yes,
he's a bit of a hammer thrower, let's be honest. Elizabeth, best delivery. So the smoothest delivery.
I'm going to mention Sandra Bailey here.
Oh,
I
lovely.
watched Sandra at the NIWPGL Championship finals last July when they were being played at Picky. They played very well, but I really liked the way Sandra did.
Pretty silky smooth.
Yes.
Happy days. Good stuff. Adrian, under pressure, the best under pressure, the big P.
The big P. Well, I have one name in mind, and that's Adam Rankin. Adam's very cool under pressure, as far as I'm concerned anyway, and that's the name that came to mind whenever I sort of thought about that.
Yeah, very good.
Definitely doesn't get rattled by too much.
Yeah, absolutely. On the green anyway.
True.
Okay, so team player Elizabeth.
And I'm going to mention Paula Montgomery because she and I have had discussions about teams and what constitutes a team. And yes, I do appreciate her thoughts on that.
Very good, very experienced exponent of the game is Paula. Adrian, mentality monster. So the best mentality that you've witnessed in your many years of bowling.
Well, if another name to come out, and it's Mark Wilson. You know, he's really focused and determined, you know, in every game that he plays. So, yeah, Mark Wilson for me there.
Yeah, good choice, indeed. Elizabeth, the funniest.
I've got to mention David Docherty from Picky. He is so funny when he's up doing the music for Picky functions on his Friday or Saturday night. He can be very hilarious at times.
Very good.
And he's a very good player as well.
Very good. And you always need someone just to lighten the mood.
You do.
Yeah.
Having played in a few tournaments over the years with David, I wouldn't disagree with that.
There you go.
Say, yes.
A good call, right? Okay. That's a very important part. And Adrian, just to finish, we have the best on a night out or day out or whatever. Who's the person with the best company?
Well, I would say I've thought about this and I've come up with a name of one of our players from Dungiven, Dennis McMacken.
Oh, we know Dennis.
Yeah, Dennis he's good fun. What he does as well, whenever we have a presentation night, he's a great compere and just everything's a bit of fun. So yeah, Dennis is the name.
We'll have to remember Dennis's comparing
Absolutely.
exploits if we're involved,
Very much.
in some of our para.
Very
trips
much
in
so,
the
yeah.
future.
Yeah, Dennis was away with us recently in Port Talbot. So, yeah, very good. I have to say he's a good lad. Enjoyed his company. So, just to recap, folks, we have the Jack in the Box, perfect Irish bowler, Elizabeth Blair, Adrian Thompson we have on the draw shot, miraculously.
I'm still shaking my
Jackie
head.
Smith. Okay, the best prepared, myself. The best on the drive, Gary Sharp-Kelly. The best delivery, Sandra Bailey. The best under pressure, Mr. Rankin himself.
The Adam variety.
Adam the variety, yes,
Jordan,
yes.
Adam.
Or Brian. Or Brian.
Great.
Team player, we have Paula Montgomery. Mentality monster, Mr. Cookstown, Mark Wilson. The funniest, David Doherty.
Yes.
Okay, and the best in a night out, good crack and good banter, Dennis McMacken. Very good indeed. Happy days.
Yeah, sounds a good choice all along there. Still erring on the Jackie one.
I know that.
I just think how many times I'm going to hear that in the future.
Yeah, 100%. Well, guys, that's us really. It's just really remains for me to say thank you very much for giving us your time and sharing with us your very positive good news stories on behalf of Piggy and indeed Dungiven. Really good examples of, best practice, if you like. Really strong message for everyone out there as well in terms of our clubs and how to take things forward and how to do it. And more importantly, what can be achieved with that can-do attitude.
Yes, I think great achievement in both clubs and obviously a different angle from both various things. But the main thing with that, you need the support of the club has come out from both and you need people willing to help and willing to get involved. But it's not a matter of it can't happen. It just may not be easy, but it can be done.
I guess it's like everything in life. It's hard work, isn't it? But, there's a real buzz there. I mean, I know there's real buzz listening to you two guys today there. And I suppose just for listeners out there, guys, if you can please keep an eye out for the Irish Bowls Federation Club Development Toolkit that will be going live very, very soon. And will offer support and guidance to clubs wanting to do things like we've just heard about today, Chris.
Yes, looking forward to the launch of that and hopefully it'll be a useful tool for our various clubs to help them along.
Cool. Guys, can I just say thank you very much again. Thanks everyone for listening and tune in for the next episode of the Irish Bowls podcast. Jack in the Box.